Canada is considering a game plan for how it would respond if the US takes a far-right...
Go watch that video. She does a really good in-depth dive there on what Canada's prepping to do and just covers the thing what they're concerned with. At this point, if you think of the world as a neighborhood, Canada is that neighbor that really just tries to mind their own business, but they live right next door to a gun nut. That's the situation. So in the narrative, you guys, we aren't the main character. We're not. And somebody else said something to the effect, what I'm going to say here in another video, I forget where it was, but like what you people don't realize, and I'm talking to the people that think America's just so great and wonderful, there are a lot of countries waiting for us to fall apart. They are waiting for us, this empire, to fall. And the reason being is I think it was that redhead girl. I know I stitched some with her video. But she was talking about the danger is, yeah, I'm pretty sure it just said it. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted there. That we have a lot of resources here. Just because we don't export stuff doesn't mean we have resources. We have land, good land. And she said exactly that's why we're not going to necessarily get nuked, because we've got good land, good resources. Canada does not want to be in the middle of that. They are land connected, right? So when we're distracted with the infighting here and everything's falling apart, they'll come at us from the coasts. They'll start taking the stuff from the coast when we're busy bickering with each other in the center. That's the danger of the fascist buildup, right? Is that it's going to become so ridiculous that we're going to become very weak. And I don't know, I don't know that Canada's going to be able to take the influx of refugees that are going to try to leave there, because there would be a sizable portion of the United States citizens that will try to make that run to Canada, right? Even now, I know that I would go to Canada if I could, but I don't have anything to provide them right now. That's the thing, right? Because their economy is balanced for their populace. I would be putting a burden on that country. Also, for many people that would want to go to Canada, think about this for a minute. You would be seen as a foreigner. Now, I know that not everybody has right-leaning views. I get that. But it is still going to be difficult when there are pockets of people, and Canada has people that are very right-wing leaning that share a lot of American right-wing values, that would see Americans as just filthy immigrants that are there to steal jobs and stuff. The political landscape in Canada would change with an influx of Americans, because it wouldn't just be people on the left. People on the right would eventually smell the smoke and understand there's a fire, run up that way, and try to get refuge there. And unfortunately, they would find a community. I believe it is easier for people who are right-leaning to find communities with extremists than it is for people who are left-leaning to try to find people who are actually honest, right? Because those people have to kind of hide themselves to a degree. Now, there are parts of Canada that have more liberal views, as we would see it, that have more open-minded views, but there's also areas that do not. When I was younger, I had the delusion that all Canadians were super just polite and nice, and they were all left-leaning, and I was young. I mean, give me a break. I was young. I was in my 20s. But as I've met actual Canadians, as I've learned more about the world around me over the years, I realized there is no perfect place, and Canada's included. They're kind of like America Light is what it is. They have a few more benefits and stuff, but if I go to Canada, I'm not immediately going to receive all the benefits of like a Canadian citizen would, nor should I. It's not my country. I haven't contributed to that country. And that's a scary thought too. It's I have a hard time, and I know some people aren't going to get this, but I have a hard time selling everything I own to move to Canada, because let's say I could get citizenship there, I could get jobs there, I can't bring all this stuff I have with me. And I know a lot of people have that mentality. Well, it's just stuff. Yeah, well, you know what? It took me years to work for it. So to ask me to give up to ask me to give up all of this when the whole narrative has been, well, it sucks, but that's what you do. You trade your life for money and use that money to buy things that you like so you can enjoy your interest. And then suddenly say, that's worth squat now, it's worth nothing. You have to give it all up and start over. I'm almost 40. Starting all over now? You got to be kidding. Like, the only way that is going to be happening is if I suddenly become rich and I can A, take the stuff with me, or have enough that I can replace it when I get there, or B, this country is so war-torn that I have no home anymore. Right? And we're getting closer to the second scenario there. But it's sad that they're having to come up with a contingency because they're worried about what their neighbors down south are doing. So, yeah.